That's what I was going to do. Now, why did I know that? I knew that because it was simply ingrained in me. I knew that because when I looked at generations prior to me, they had all gone in my family.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
I had a whole bunch. My grandmother was a teacher. My mother was a teacher. My sister is a teacher. Two of my daughters are teachers. I got a granddaughter about to be a teacher. You
Okay.
know,
Okay,
and
okay.
that has been kind of ingrained in me, and consequently, we ingrained it in our kids.
Okay.
Education, not necessarily teaching, but education.
Okay. Okay. That's pretty interesting.
That is.
I had a question, seeing that you've been married for 38 years, correct?
Mhm.
And seeing that, your extensive work history, as well as your, all the things you're involved in now with the church, right?
Mhm.
And several different things. And so a question that I think might help a lot of people, and it may help for them to hear your perspective, is about balance. Because sometimes that balance in life is hard for us to keep in order. The week seems to zoom by.
Mhm.
You have to be this place on Monday, this place on Tuesday. You have a wife to tend to. So up through the years, what has been your method, or what have you found to be the way to maintain a healthy balance throughout life and maintaining everything that you're involved in?
Well, one of the things I've tried to do all my life was maintain that healthy balance. I'm not at all sure that during part of my life that I maintained it as well as I needed to. Now let me say this. During the time that I was working, sometimes I would work 12, 14 hours.
Mm.
Well, you do the math. That doesn't leave a whole lot of hours any given day to do other things.
Right.
But my wife and I talked about it. We decided that even if we had little time, it was going to be quality time.
Okay.
And my wife was okay with that because it wasn't my career, it was our career.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way we talked about it, and that's the way we did it.
Love
Now,
That's
after
good.
I retired,
Yes.
then certainly being involved in the church, I'm much more involved now than I was at the time. I spent 30 years of my life out of church. 30 years of my life. But I was in church prior to retiring.
Yeah.
But I wasn't nearly as involved as I became once I retired.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I love it.
And
Right.
see, that's interesting because a lot of times, why were you out of church for 30 years?
Well, that's a very good question. I grew up in church.
Mm-hmm.
As a very young person, young kid, I was in church. I remember being a youth superintendent at Sunday school. I remember teaching Sunday school
Okay.
when I was a youth, et cetera, those kinds of things. Well, I went to college.
Okay.
And when I went to college, I got accustomed not to going to church.
Okay.
And then I graduated from college.
Mhm.
Did anything happen to cause it? No.
Okay.
Was it very conscious that said, I'm going to stop going to church? No.
Okay.
It wasn't like that.
So it was a gradual
Yes, it was.
drift away.
Drift away, and I allowed myself to do that.
Yeah.
And then I was involved in work, and
Okay.
things of that nature, when I should have been more involved in the master. Matter of fact, he could have helped me. With some of the things I wanted to achieve.
Well, he did.
Yeah, he did. He did. But, at the same time, I guess, we're fortunate if at some point in time we see the light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, my family never stopped after me.
Okay.
My mother, until she died. My sister, after that, she picked it up right after. And kept the mantle. My wife,
Okay.
Okay. So people never quit. But on the other hand, I'm glad.
So your wife was saved at the time when you were out of the church? Was she in the church and you were out of the church?
She got back in the church long before I did.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
During a part of the time, she was not in church either.
Okay.
So-
she is a prayer warrior.
Yes, sir.
Amen.
Hallelujah. Amen.
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 So, one thing, when talking to young guys or trying to get through to young guys, in our context of our society now, and especially in the urban context, marriage is kind of a thing that's getting less and less prevalent, I guess you would say. So, how do you, because one thing I try to understand is that it can't be too many things more joyful than having a family and having kids, and those kids being able to experience the joy that comes from being in a loving home with both parents, and the parents then being able to see those kids come up and thrive and develop personalities. But so much now it seems like that's not, people are not getting a chance to experience that because of the brokenness of of how we do dating and relationships and the lack of wanting to get married. So what would you say for a generation that seems to be fading away from that? What would you tell them that they're missing out on by wanting to remain in the perpetual dating state or extended adolescent state?
Well,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, before I answer that question, let me just tell you a little bit about my background. I grew up without a father. Growing up without a father made me realize that's not the way I wanted my kids to grow up.
Okay.
But let me say this. My wife and I have been married 38 years. I was married before. So I don't want to give the impression I'm out here all pure and perfect.
Right.
Oh,
That is not the way
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is. You know, I was married for 5 years before.
We know you're not as pure as Trump. You know, we
And my
I'm messing with
my
you.
wife and I don't have biological kids together. She has one biological son, and I have 4, but all 5 of them are ours.
Yeah.
You know, that's the way
Right.
we look at it.
Yeah.
But I don't know anything except Jesus Christ that is as joyful to me as being married. And you know what? I've been
Amen.
married for 38 years, about 38 and a half years now. It seems like that was a very short period of time.
Yeah.
It still seems that way. You know, you don't know my wife, but you may have seen her, but you know, these two know her
Yeah.
very well.
Yeah.
You know,
She's awesome.
it's tough for me. It's tough for me to understand how anybody wouldn't love Doris, including me. It's more difficult for me to understand how she loves me.
Right, right.
And yeah,
Nice.
and it's pretty good
That
because we
was
know she's
nice.
listening, so that's a good brownie point for you. And that is not wrong.
But I don't know. Did I answer your?
Yes, you
I answer
did.
your
Yes, you
question?
did.
Now,
Yes, you did.
Brother Reed, what about growing? Yeah, young Paul. He's only 16.
Mhm.
Growing up in Mississippi, what was your relationships with white people in Mississippi growing up? Some of your experiences.
Well, I grew up at a time that relationships with white people were very difficult.
Mhm.
There's no question about that. I grew up in the 50s in a state that was arguably the worst state in the union from the standpoint of race relations. Now, people have argued with me from Alabama, Arkansas, Louisiana, and places like that.
Texas.
But I'm from Mississippi. Yeah, I'm going to argue it was Mississippi because that was my experience.
Right.
Okay.
But let me answer your question holistically in this way. When I left Mississippi, my mother was glad because she thought sure I would be killed.
Wow.
She thought sure I'd be killed. Now, as a young person, it was impossible to kill me, right? I was invincible.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I'm 16, 17, and 18. Let me tell you, in the summer of 1964, when Goodman, Schwerner, and Cheney was killed in Philadelphia, Mississippi, I was doing the same thing in another part of Mississippi.
Okay.
The very same thing. That is, registering people to vote, which is what they were doing. I was not old enough to vote at that time. I was 17.
Okay.
But we were registering people to vote. And white people didn't like that. I could have been killed as easily as they. So my mother, although she loved me and would have loved to see me stay around, was glad to see me leave.
Mm-hmm.
Can't imagine.
Boy.
Can't imagine. Hey, look, let's take a quick break.
Yes, sir.
And when we come back, we're going to talk some more with Brother Reed. So we want everybody to stick around, stick with us. We've got more coming up. All right? Amen?
Yes, sir.
You know, that's something my mom and I, in subsequent years, talked about many times. You know, I grew up in a town called Mound Bayou, Mississippi. Well, the one thing I didn't mention there that I thought about later on that maybe I should have, that's very significant, certainly in terms of molding who I am and other people. Mound Bayou is the largest all-black town in the United States. Still is today.
Oh, okay.
You know.
Wow.
So Mound Bayou, founded in 1887 by 2 black men, I.T. Montgomery and Benjamin T. Green. You can find, I'm sure you can find it on there if you look it up.
Right.
You know, taught things that weren't taught in other school districts in Mississippi. We were taught by teachers who cared. We had during the civil rights movement people that came, like King and Shuttlesworth and Bevel and all of these people, Abernathy, to Mount Bayou because they couldn't stay in other places.
Man.
Why? They were afraid of being killed.
Right.
Wasn't no white person coming to Mount Bayou.
Yeah.
First of all, they was too conspicuous.
Mhm.
You know.
Exactly.
So-
to be picked
so-
out like a sore thumb.
That's right. So I got the benefit of hearing these people
Man.
as a kid growing up, you know. Now, they couldn't come to my school, but they go to Catholic school,
Right,
you
right,
know,
right,
as a
right, right.
public school. They couldn't do that. So Mount Bayou was an interesting place from that point of view.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, I always thought about, because I remember I asked my grandmother the same question that you just asked him, basically, and she's from Adams, Tennessee, which is basically in Nashville, but it's more of the rural area or whatever.
Adams?
Yeah, Adams.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I
so.
went to college in Nashville. I'm usually
Yeah,
familiar with Middle Tennessee.
so Adams is just like, when the times we go in there, dirt road,
Man.
people got emu, what do you call them birds?
Emu.
Emus, they got them in there, like just random stuff, man. So, and so, yeah, it's real crazy, man. But yeah, so she said, I asked her that same question, but she was like, their relations with white people were pretty good, so it's funny how you can, in certain regions, is really bad, and in other regions, like, people seem to start evolving in their relationships earlier on. It's kind of weird,
But this was interesting. The people that I had problems with weren't people who lived all around. And by the way,
Mhm.
we lived in the country, and white people lived we lived out in the country together.
Okay. Yeah.
They weren't those people.
Okay.
You were at each other's house. You didn't go to school together. You didn't go to church together. There are a
Yeah.
lot of things you didn't do together because they were, by law, segregation was the law in Mississippi at that particular time.
Yeah.
You could be prosecuted if you
But that
did
didn't
something.
necessarily mean you had anything against each other.
About 30
Is that what you're
seconds.
saying?
I'm talking about those local people right in that area.
Oh, okay.
But these were the
Yeah.
people
Oh,
who
yeah,
didn't
okay.
live in that
Get
area.
ready to go high, guys.
Got you.
Got like 30 seconds, but that's some good stuff you're talking about. Get on up, stand up. Welcome back. SMP3 with Mark
John G.
Marv, what's up?
and Brother Reed. Brother
Yes, sir.
Reed, we had a good conversation going on the break there.
Yes, you did.
Brother Reed was kind of telling us about growing up in Mississippi. Real interesting there. One of the things that I find interesting, Brother Reed, that I want to hear you talk about is Obama has done nothing for black people.
Okay. So you want to hear my opinion?
I want
about
to hear
Obama has
your.
done nothing for black people.
He's done nothing. This is according to John.
Look, that's the gospel according to John.
I think Obama is the president of the United States of America.
Okay. What do you mean?
He is not. He's the president who is black, not the black president.
All right.
He's the president who happens to be black. I think that he has done for black people what any other white president has done. And that's basically some sort of thing. Now, you certainly could look at things like health care. He didn't do it for black people. He did it for everybody.
Okay.
You know? And in my opinion, that's what a president should do.
Okay.
Should President Obama have done something special for black people because he is black? The answer, in my opinion, is no.
Okay.
I believe that he should have done something for the people, and if he's going to do something for poor people, which a lot of black people would fall in that particular category, then obviously a number of black people would benefit, as well as white people would benefit. I think President Obama had a standard placed upon him that other presidents never had,
Yeah.
and that was wrong and unfortunate, in my opinion.
Okay.
So basically what you're saying is that a lot of people got the president of the United States confused with the president of King's Ridge.
I wouldn't have put it like that. I'm gonna let that stand.
Right. Okay.
But Brother Reed, it's President Obama, because blacks, you can name any category. I mean, when it comes to incarceration, 42% black women, 10 times have the HIV than white women. If you're talking about education, 8 million of us is in public education and is doing very, very, very bad jobs. I think white folks are 17 and 19 times the wealth that we do. So every single physical category, we are at the bottom. 40, I think we did the research, 27% poverty for black people, depending on where you're from, up to 43%.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, Obama did some things that were good, and that made sense. But sometimes I can't compare with Harriet Tubman. That's my issue. That Negroes, black folk, colored folk, y'all want to compare them with Harriet Tubman, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. That's why I have an issue with. Because you're right, he's just a man. But what has he done special? I'm not saying to make him Jesus. We know he's not. What makes him special? For example, he had 4 years. He can't get reelected. I'd have went crazy. I'd have signed every executive order I could. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So you want a hero cookie because you let out 200 folk that shouldn't have won anyway, or shouldn't have been in that way? You want to give 200 million to black youth? 200 million? 200 million? Are you serious? What's $200 million? You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying impress me. That's not even it. What? I'm saying, it's a little bit of it. I'm just saying that, I'll say what Farrakhan said. Farrakhan said this, and I'm not for Farrakhan, for his religion, anything like that. Right. He said something powerful. First of all, he did what you did, Brother Reed. He said positive things about Obama, saying he was an example for black youth to be able to say, I can be president. And I'm like, dang. But his last comment was, but he hasn't done anything for black youth. You know what I'm saying? I mean, in reference to, because Jay-Z got that same conceptualization philosophy. And that is, he said it more than once. He said, my appearance or who I am is my charity. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then when folks start thinking like that, you know what I'm saying? So, now, Mom, you're not a Jay-Z fan too, like Gregory, are you? I see your face over there.
That was not in conjunction with wanting to say a good word for Jay-Z, Mr. Jigga Man.
But before we get out of that, I must respond here.
Yes, sir.
First of all, I would not characterize my comments as being positive about Obama. I would characterize them as being neutral.
Okay.
You know. Now, are there some positive comments I can make? Sure, there are some positive comments I could make. Do I think that he did enough for poor people? No, I don't think he did. But here again, in the context of doing something for black people, I think he should have done more for poor people. Okay. I understand how he couldn't do it, because after all, we have a system of government that he's only controls the executive branch. Right. And yes, he can sign executive orders, and yes, the Supreme Court can rule them unconstitutional, and yes, as a result, Congress can come out and make a contrary law. Right. And in terms of the Supreme Court, that has happened. Some of what he has done, they have said that's unconstitutional. Right. You cannot, that executive order can no longer stand. But I think that Obama, I believe personally he's been good for the country. Do I believe he could have done more? Yes, but I think any president could. Have done that. Mm-hmm. I don't think any president or Congress is going to be for unwealthy people.
I agree with that.
And my take is this, so I'll give you the disclaimer like I already have, is politics is not my arena. But one thing I do know is Obama has allowed you to get your Cuban cigar over here to stateside. I'm just playing. That ain't nothing. It's a lot of truth said in jest. But my thing is this, so my whole thing is that the thing I'm impressed with about him is more in his character and his demeanor. And I'm not saying that should trump everything, but I am saying it counts for something in my book. In a society that lacks public figures who can also be looked upon as somebody who can be a positive person or somebody you can kind of model areas of your life after. And the thing that disappoints me about America is that no one wants to, the people who have been at his neck in the name of politics, there's a lot of racism that's been hiding behind the visage of politics, right?
Sure, yeah.
And so that's disappointing to me because people they do that. And then they think that people really think that it's about politics with them. But a lot of these people, it never was about politics,
Right.
but was more so about the color of skin.
Right.
And so I think the ugliness in America lies in people wanting to be feeling like they're covert with their hatred, but they're really see-through and overt. So, so my whole thing is, I don't know another man who would have been able to go 8 years with venom being spit at him from every direction, but maintaining the elegance of character, or the eloquence of speech,
Yes.
or the kill, disposition, the even kill disposition that he has. So I'm gonna give him some points for sticking that landing. You know what I'm saying? Give him the gold medal for that. Give him the gold medal, man.
Mark, but
You know what I'm
he
saying?
does have a kill list. He had 5,000 names on it. I just let you
Have
know
you seen
that.
it?
Yeah, it's on. It's a documentary, straight up. He has a kill list because of the Patriot Act.
Did you watch
Yeah.
him write it though?
Man, but
I'm just playing devil's advocate. You know what I'm saying? I never speak absolutely because unless I was in the room when he was writing the name, let's put
it was
Bin
actually
Laden
the
on there.
admiral. He was when they took care of Bin Laden.
Right.
They had a guy that no one knows about, but he was the one in charge of. Yeah, he has a kill list of for real 5,000 from ages of 17 to 63 or 73. They can take you out.
So you saying that no other president has had that, and that's not protocol, or?
He increased the number of kills.
Well,
Yeah. Go ahead.
Here's
Yeah.
the thing. Here's the thing. According to John, President Obama is the problem for everything. Okay?
No.
I just,
Now they say everything.
it's just
Yeah. And I don't disagree with your statistics,
Right.
but those, you could have gone back 8 years and those statistics would have been very similar.
absolutely.
You could have gone back 20 years, they would have been very similar. Are they trending worse? Probably.
Right.
Mhm.
I agree with that.
Mhm.
And here again, I admit, for poor people, black, white, or whatever color they are, I personally would have liked to have seen the federal government do more. But I will admit this, the federal government cannot solve that problem.
Yes,
And also, I would
Right,
venture
right.
to say that John, he probably has a kill list too. He just hasn't written his down yet. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We just became the next two, right? Look out above for those drones, man.
I want to tell you this right now. I'm not scared of that.
You ain't got to be scared to catch a whooping, man.
Brother Reed, we've got a couple of minutes left. We want to give you the opportunity for the final words.
I would say this. First of all, I've enjoyed immensely being here. Not only because of the show itself and what the show is all about, but the people that I'm around.
Sure.
The show.
Thank you.
I think the conversation and the topics were good. I would just say, keep it up and do more.
Amen.
Brother
Yes,
Reed,
sir.
are we going to be able to bring you back?
Anytime.
Yes, sir.
All
Okay.
right. All right.
So we'll see you tomorrow. 6 a.m.
I would have just gotten home from work.
Right.
You can come jump in at 4.
I heard that. Yes, sir.
So we'll do 5 miles.
Yeah, we really appreciate you coming by, man.
Yes, sir.
We might have to make that a regular. You have to might be a regular for the
Yes,
show.
sir. Yes.
But we're going to take just a minute to remind everybody that SMP3 now every Sunday
Yes.
from 7 to 9
PM.
PM.
PM, yes.
Yeah.
PM.
Thanks, Mark.
I got you, man. Keep it alive. I slammed it home, man.
Yeah, and there's a lot of exciting stuff going on here at Black on Black as well. I want to remind you that Greg is on Tuesdays from 2 to 4 p.m. Also, you can catch him on Sundays from 2 to 4 with Words from the Well. But we have several new shows coming up, and Ronita, who we have now on the network?
Real Talk with Candy
Real Talk with Candy,
on Fridays from 7 to 8.
7 to 8 on Fridays.
And then Indie on the Go
Indie on the Go.
on Saturdays from 12 to 1.
Saturdays 12 to 1. So Black, the Black on Black network is filling up. Go ahead, John.
I just got one. Are we still on Wednesday? Wednesday from 7 to 9?
Yes.
Greg's show is at
6 to 7.
6 to 7. Greg's show on Wednesday. And
Yeah.
our show being reshown at 79 Wednesday. So if you missed us today, if you're a friend, a family member, and don't forget, you can market your product with us. We're going to take good care of you.
Amen,
Yes, sir.
amen. Thanks again, Brother Reed. Thank
Yes,
you, John.
yes, sir, yes, sir.
Thank you, Mark.
Yes, sir.
We'll be here next Sunday. All right, we'll be looking for you. So,
All right.
so come on back.
So,
All right. Chelsea just gave her say.
Sorry about that, man.
but anyway, it was on Netflix. That tripped me out, man.
Yeah.
But he
yeah.
increased the
Thank
number.
you, brother.
Right.
It was
I don't
like
doubt
2,000,
it.
yeah.
I don't doubt it.
Yes,
man. You know how to play devil's advocate,
Yeah,
though, man.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Can I get out downstairs?
That was what's up, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, Unc.
All
No,
right.
it was
You got
good.
that.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah. All day, man.
Thanks, man.
Last time you been asleep, right? You all right?
What do you
Everything okay?
think?
Yeah, he's
It was,
right. He's probably
You all
I
right?
like it, man.
Black,
man.
Young Paul out, man. We had a good time, man. Peace, dudes.
Yeah.
Definitely gonna tune in, man.
Yeah, they
Deuce,
very
deuce.
much,